Hey, what's up, guys? This is Christian,
It's your boy D Young, and
and
this
this
is
is
Word
Word
on the
on the
Block.
Block. Cool. Episode 4. So there's a
Sir.
lot that has been going on in the world, right, as always, but a lot of stuff that's moving fast. And so we're just gonna touch up on a couple subjects, such as a lot of brands that has misrepresented a lot of different cultures and races out there. Minimum wage changes, uptick in COVID, even though some places have been opening up, some places are retracting back on those decisions. And also, there's like a retail apocalypse, which has been happening, but I think COVID has really sped that up. So, me and Dame are going to dig deep on these topics. Dame, how's your week been, bro?
It's been a good week. Been working pretty hard. Getting some video editing done
You
for
got a
us.
blanket over there?
Yeah, it's cold here. Sorry.
You got a blanket, you got a mattress up in the back. What's going on over there, man?
What do? Hey, you have to call me out like
Crazy
that,
over
bro.
there.
Chillax.
Okay.
Chillax.
Anyways, well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's been going on. What do you want to touch on first? We can kind of jump around.
Let's change it up. Let's talk. Well, not change it up, but let's talk about the Chuck E. Cheese one first.
Retail apocalypse. Yeah, what's your thoughts on all these places closing? Chuck E. Cheese, of course, is one of the bigger
Uh,
ones.
to be honest, at the beginning, I already knew once the quarantine stuff happened, we already knew it was going to happen for a few weeks. Knowing that, I already knew that a lot of big businesses that were already going to, that looked like they were already going, bankrupt and all that stuff, were going to shut down. For example, Chuck E. Cheese. Nobody's really going to Chuck E. Cheese no more. It was back in our days when we were kids, that was the hype. I feel like nowadays, it's not really the hype because with technology advancing and stuff, a lot of kids have a lot of games and a lot of things that they can do in the palm of their hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. But the thing I liked about Chuck E. Cheese, it gave us like a different experience because
Oh yeah,
it kind of gave us like that nostalgic arcade feel. But
for
at the
cheap.
same time, like it did need to adapt. I don't think it was adapting. And
Yeah,
especially places like that, it's gonna be hard to stay afloat with not being able to be open for business. So
yeah,
super tough for that to see that happen. I know a lot of Chuck E. Cheese's are closing down around the nation. There's a lot of other places that are closing, such as GameStop has closed a lot of spots.
yeah. I
Victoria's
think Chuck
Secret.
E. Cheese had like 555 closing locations, along with their other. They have another business that they own that's like a franchise too.
Yeah. They're under a holding company, and Chuck E. Cheese is the main moneymaker for that holding company. But
Yeah,
um, yeah. So GameStop, Victoria's Secret is closing. Gap, Walgreens, all these places have over more than 200 plus stores closing. So that's crazy, man.
yeah. It's a
Um,
lot of lost money there.
yeah, and then some companies that filed for bankruptcy, JCPenney, Pier One, GNC, Chuck E. Cheese, of course. So they're all filing for bankruptcy. So it's crazy times, man. Crazy times to see all that type of stuff that we kind of grew up with, all these stores kind of going out of
Oh
business.
yeah.
But
I think with everything that's happening, I think in the future they're definitely going to open back up though, because you see a lot of retail stores do that where they say like I think like one of them is at Maplewood Mall, Charlotte Russe, where they close down and then they open back up. You
in
know
the
what I'm
same
saying?
spot, or like they open up a new spot somewhere else.
I'm not sure. I think they opened up in a new spot, but they said they were closing. You know what I'm saying? So they had a sale and everything, and then they opened back up.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so that they don't have to pay for that time being. And
Yeah,
then when they get back afloat, they can. But I think a lot of these brands, they need to figure out ways to actually create opportunities for people to engage with their brands on not only online but also in person. I think a lot of these brands are kind of just random stores where everybody just kind of walks in and buys stuff, but you can do that online now, so there's no point of going in. So maybe
yeah,
if like a Victoria's Secret or maybe like a GameStop, they did something different where people had to come in to experience like that experience. Let's say like the PS5 is coming out. What type of experience are they having in their store compared to someone that can just buy it online?
yeah.
So
I
it's
think with
tough.
online shopping, it's also scary now too. For example, like people are scared to go out to the mall and go buy clothes and stuff because of
Yeah,
COVID. But you heard about the thing with Amazon in Shakopee, not where we live, but near where we live.
Yep.
That's our main freaking warehouse that sends stuff to us in the
Yep.
Twin Cities area.
Yep.
And they have what, like 300 cases?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So now you think you're not safe when you go out to the mall? The package that you have could have that.
Well, this is a good transition because one of our other topics is uptick in COVID. Ever since we've reopened, we've seen places like Florida and California over the weekend. They've gotten like, let's see, Florida has 9K reported new cases in one day last Friday, and then California has 7K in one day, and then 45 new cases across the nation just in one day. I think today, 50,000 in one day, and that's the most that we've had so far. So it's definitely not dead. People are kind of acting like it's gone, but it's still out there. So and a lot of places are retracting back on opening up. I know a lot of bars out in Cali are retracting back on their decisions to open back up. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy out there right now. What are your thoughts on the uptick?
I mean, we were already gonna know. We already knew that was gonna happen once everything opens up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are expecting that. Oh, if we just cool off, it'll go away. Like, no, it's still there. People still have it.
Yeah.
Like you said, Florida, Cali was having it. Just today, the U.S. reported the second highest day of new coronavirus cases is in Arizona today.
Sheesh.
And
yeah,
everything is just spiking up. If you think about it, one of them has it. They're going to be in contact with another person, and they're going to catch it.
Yeah.
And I think that Minnesota, I think we're like number 2 and number 3 at being the best at being like social distancing and stuff. But no matter what, it's still super dangerous. The U.S. has freaking 2.74 million confirmed, and the world has 10.7 million confirmed.
Yeah.
But the recovery rates compared to death, it's kind of crazy. I have it all on my computer right here. Recovered from the U.S. is 841,000, and the death toll is 130K just from when they started counting, which was like January to now. And that's a grip loader number. Is like there's a lot of recovered, but like there's still a lot of deaths happening. And I think that's a big reminder that we should still stay quarantined and safe, regardless of how long we've been staying put at home. I know everybody wants to get out, but it's still out there. It's not gone.
Yep, definitely not gone. So make sure to follow, the rules as always, which is, wear a mask and stuff like that. I've seen and up 6 feet distance, but I've seen a lot of people who are just like, not wearing masks anymore. And a lot of people are like fighting against masks. There's even something crazy where I saw it says bars lives matter. I was like, really? Yep. That's like that's what we're doing right now. Like it's crazy out there. So make sure, like, this is no joke. I mean, like you said all the numbers. There's 10 million cases around the world, 2 million here, and we are the ones in the US that has not a lot of places have dropped as far as cases. But we are still pretty high as far as cases on a daily basis, and so we need to be better as a whole with everything going on, man. So yeah, I mean, I think some good things that have came out of this. There's things like minimum wage has come about for a lot of these places. I think because of places like Target has said that they're going to do $15 minimum wage, which is good. I think because of all the workers are very essential, and I think that has really made them fold their cards and be like, all right, we really need to pay these guys because they've really stepped up to the plate and really have shown out for the company. But also they've also received bonuses too. So I think Target is doing some good stuff with that. And so I think that out of everything that's happening, that has really folded the cards a lot of these big businesses to do that.
Yeah, my mom, Target's a big, Target was made where we're at in Minnesota. And my mom she works for Target, and I think she told me she's working from home until the end of this year from what she told me and what I remember.
Yep.
So Target, they're doing really well, treating their workers right. they're essential workers that are working at stores, and they're also, you know, staying safe at the same time, which I think
Mm-hmm.
that's they're big role model to the community, and what you should do as a business.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
people, I understand people still have to make money, but you can open up and still do it the right way. You don't have to have people coming in and barging into your businesses. You can
Mm-hmm.
still do like half capacity and stuff like that.
Yeah. What's your thought on minimum wage, a $15 minimum wage?
I mean, I don't. I think that we shouldn't raise it any higher than what it is. People are asking for 15, working at low paying, low skill jobs. Like, let's say, you know, you're expecting $15 to work at Burger King. It's like, when I started working, I got freaking $9, $8, and I was happy as heck. You know,
Yeah.
I think that as you raise up prices, as you raise up in minimum wage, inflation is accounted for that also, and that prices of things will raise up, and that's always the argument. Like, you raise minimum wage, things can get more expensive, and I think that it's only going to be a cycle that keeps repeating itself. So if we just stay stable, or we're at where we are at, I think that we wouldn't need to raise minimum wage at all.
Yeah. You know, I used to think exactly like that, but I did some digging. And so I'm gonna run some numbers by you just to give you a good idea. So I used to think the exact same thing, more like this is just a beginner job. Like, why would they get paid $15? $15 is like a decent job and one. But um the good thing about this is that those people that actually get a higher minimum wage will spend their money in the economy, and that will help stimulate the economy to create bigger businesses and bigger business activity and job growth. But at the same time, a typical worker in a position like this, like a Target or Walmart or Amazon, or these, like, you know, factories and stuff like that, is actually a 35-year-old woman with some college experience. So they have not graduated college. They have some college experience, and less than 10% are teenagers. So
Mm,
sure, they may seem like just a regular job for kids that are kind of getting out of high school and stuff like that. But actually, if you actually look at the numbers, that's actually the statistic. So if you're a 35-year-old mom and you're making like $9, $8, 10, I think Target was like $11 minimum wage before all of this, you're not gonna be able to, you know, be able to feed your family like that, you know.
yeah,
And sometimes this is the only type of job that they're gonna be able to get. And so, um, you know, it's gonna be tough for them to be able to provide for the family like that. And so, this will really help these type of families be able to get what they need to be able to live in the economy that we're on. And even if you look at like prices for rent or prices for to buy a house, that's increasing, and that's why right now it's really I believe the prices are really high right now, so a lot of people aren't buying houses so as much anymore, or before this whole pandemic, right? And so um because of that, I think that this is a good thing for these type of people that are in this age range. And
yeah,
it's, I mean, yeah, like I said, I used to think exactly like that. I'm like, that's a starter job, but if you actually look at the numbers, like, yo, like, this is actually pretty much needed. Yeah, because I used to think $50 to my little sister would be crazy, you know, but if you look at the numbers, that's what it is. So I think
mm,
it's a good change. I think a lot of big companies like Amazon and Facebook and Bank of America, Costco, these places, they're really implementing it because I think they're really also looking at the numbers. And so, you know, this will hopefully help these people that are working these jobs not have to work two jobs. You know, some of them may work in these jobs and at night they go work a second shift, you know. So
yeah,
um, we don't want to, we want to be able to enjoy our lives. I think this will really help us be able to do that, but also help us be able to have some buying power too at the same time to be able to invest and
yeah,
save too. So I think it's a good move. It's a good move overall.
yeah.
Cool. Uh, a big thing that's been going on right now is a lot of these brands, that we kind of grew up on, Aunt
For
Jemima,
years,
yeah, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben's rice, um,
Mrs. Butterworth.
this is Buttersworth cream of wheat. A lot of these brands, um, they have a face of a African American on the front of their brand, representing their brand. And with everything that's been going on with protests and stuff like that, a lot of these things are being called to be canceled. What is your thoughts on that?
I was just doing some reading on that like a few days ago, and I was like, I actually, in my mindset, I believe that it was the right idea for people to start coming out to change these things. But I think it's so hard to change because they've been such a staple in the culture and the country we grew up in, and that it's going to be hard for some people to accept. And I think that it's a great step forward to showing change in this world. Um, yeah, Uncle Ben's rice, there's a black guy on it, and then they link that to slavery along with the Aunt Jemima. They definitely link that to the there's a show, Gone with the Wind. If you read that article,
Yep.
they linked it to Gone with the Wind with their mammy or something like that, and they connected that with her. She was a black slave that was in a white household, a maid or something. So, and they didn't decline that it was a black lady in a household either. So I think that with them moving forward, I think it would help show a lot of other businesses what to do.
Yeah, I think it's a good move forward. I think just because of the representation that these figures have, because they're
Yeah,
not represented in a way that they want to be represented in. I think that's the biggest issue, is that
yeah,
they're like Uncle Ben and Auntie Mama, the portrayal of that is not um such as like a hero or anything like that. It
yeah,
was more as like they were a servant or
yeah.
a slave, and that's the biggest issue. And I see some comments, they're like, what about like Captain Crunch and what about all this other stuff? I'm like, that portrayal is very different from what this portrayal is in
Yeah.
the match, because Captain Crunch is
That
like,
yeah.
he's like, it's like a mascot. It's different. Like, and Aunt
These
Jemima,
brands were
Uncle
built
Ben
off
is,
of
yeah, it's built off of slaves, and it's built off of servant, and that type of representation should not be what represents that community, and it's not something to take lightly. So I think it's good that
yeah,
this is being called upon, and that these brands are really reviewing their brand identity and the steps they're
yeah.
going to take to pivot off of that.
Oh yeah. I think that that the way you said it with like the Captain Crunch thing, it kind of reminds me of like people saying, "Oh, all lives matter." Where it's
Yeah,
like, "Well, no, Black Lives Matter right now."
yeah,
That's exactly what that reminds me of.
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things that I read was that any object that reduces the African American to a character or a stereotype, that's problematic. And I think that that's huge, and I think it kind of makes it easier to dismiss Black people if you have these type of figures, being the ones that represent them. And so
Yep.
we really need to get past that. And I think this is a good step to be able to doing that, because right now what we're really fighting for is to make sure that people of all colors, white, black, red, yellow, whatever the heck it is, that we're
Yep.
all at the same level of playing field.
Yep.
And that we're all helping try to be able to get to where we can get to without having any setbacks. And I think this is a good step to making sure to call that out. The great thing about this is that, this is also going to be able to trickle down into things like the Washington Redskins and stuff like that, because the Native
Yep.
American community, they've been fighting for that forever, to get rid of that, and so,
Yeah.
or like, what is it?
Kansas City Chiefs or anything like that.
Cleveland Indians, stuff like that, so
Yeah.
it's going to be important for this to be able to happen, so that that really puts these other places on notice. So I think
Hmm.
that this is huge. Anything else you want to add to that?
Oh, I've got nothing else.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I mean, anything else you see out there in the news?
I think we really talked about everything with the coronavirus spike.
Yeah,
A lot of the businesses shutting down, and same with the Aunt Jemima businesses and all that. I think that with everything that's happened so far with the pandemic and the whole George Floyd thing, I think a lot of people are opening up their eyes to what is happening. Um, Other than that, I have nothing else to say.
cool. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot going on. There's always stuff going on. We're gonna be the ones that's gonna be able to kind of give you guys a little bit better insight, just to make sure you guys aren't just believing everything you guys are hearing. And even if you guys just listen to us, make sure to check out other places too, just for yourselves, to make sure you stay educated and on top of topics that are going on in the world. Just so you're not getting the wrong information, because you can't always believe everything that you see on your news feeds and stuff like that. Do some
Oh
digging,
yeah,
get some different
especially
opinions.
Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. People be posting up like fake links. I'm like, yo, like if you actually clicked it, it's a fake website. So
Yeah,
stop saying
people
this.
don't even read the website where it's from.
Yeah, or like they'll take like excerpts of news articles. They don't even read the whole thing. So
Yeah,
make sure that when you're sharing stuff, just make sure you know what you're sharing and you're not sharing false information. Because if you do, then someone else that trusts your opinion, they're gonna be able to they're gonna believe that as
believe
well.
it. Yeah,
So make sure you're doing your homework and just staying on top of topics that are going on in the world, because it can be disheartening at times, but it's better to know your stuff than to not know what's going on in the world. So cool. Sounds good. This is episode 4 of Word on the Block. Until next week, peace.
peace.